enjoying that? Okay. Needless to say, it's a rough day.
It was a rough week.
It was a really rough week, and it's accumulating in a really rough day. Yet I will rejoice. Yet I. It is His day, and sometimes praise is a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And today is one of those days.
Sometimes I come to Sabbath right here with a different attitude. I mean, you know, we're human. We come with different attitudes because of our week. But I find that whatever energy I put into worshiping God, because we're not here for each other, we're here for God.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to bring in. Well, I find that as much energy as I put in here dictates my week.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's ahead of us. We don't know
We do not.
5 minutes from now. We don't know tomorrow. We don't know Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But God does.
Yes, He does.
The world is ready to gobble us up.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a very, very dark world out there.
Yeah, it is.
So
And you know, that was
on
good.
note,
That
go
was
ahead,
good.
take it.
Huh?
So on that note, that's all I gotta say.
That's okay. That was good. It reminds me of. Hold on to that one.
Yep.
The song that Janet's been singing. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Right? Isn't that what you just said? In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. He will lead you, He will guide you, He will take you by the hand. He will lead you, He will guide you, He will help you understand. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Sometimes we don't necessarily understand, but eventually we will. Sometimes we obey just for the sheer sake of obedience, out of salvation or love? Love. Out of love. Salvation is mine. I obey out of love. Right? If you love me, you'll obey me.
It's easy to see His hand of love in all that comes our way. Think
Mm.
about your week.
That's
Yeah.
true. He gives life. He gives death. What? I'm going to stop using the term permissive will and perfect will, because it's God's will, period.
The bottom line.
Bottom line. I can make my life harder, but His will still be done. He permits, our choice. He's a God of choice, absolutely. But His will is His will. Well, is this, are you fighting His will? I'm not going to say, well, He's going to no, well, he gives you choice. Yeah. So do we bless Him in all things? In all things, in all ways? Do we act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God? In all things, in all ways, good or bad. You know, somebody's coming at you. Hey,
Deserved or undeserved?
deserved or undeserved. Are you going to act justly? Not according to your perception or man's justice, according to God's. And what does He say? Love your enemies. But, excuse me?
What does that look like, to love your enemies?
You should have followed me all week. Yeah,
It's hard.
it can be. It can be, because it fights against our flesh. And see, we have to understand that everything we go through is to teach us to cut off our flesh. So if we get upset, what if my flesh needs to go? I don't have a right to be upset. Oh, okay, there's a scripture that says be angry and sin not. Okay. Yeah, all right. But, you know, we have to be very discerning. Is it righteous anger? Is it anger at, you know, some anger is correct. You know, when you get betrayed, when you have someone betray, see, betrayal can only happen when it's somebody that's really close to you. All right? Betrayal doesn't happen, you know, or somebody who has authority over you. Okay? That's betrayal. But Joe Schmo off the street can't betray me. I mean, they can turn me in. That's not a betrayal. That's different. Okay? They can be a weasel. They can turn me in. They can, you know, they can lie about me, whatever. But that's not betrayal. Betrayal is close. Okay? A betrayal of trust, a betrayal of authority, a betrayal of the heart. A betrayal is close. It's close. It hurts. And only those who are close to you or have authority over you can betray you. All right? How'd we get there?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
I guess it was permitted in that time that Jews had to carry their stuff if they were told, you need to carry them a mile. And Yeshua says, go the extra mile. And that was a good picture when you were talking about that, because they were humiliated. But there's a change in the hearts of the Romans, you know, like, I'll carry that now, or, you know, but that's what we do. We heap coals on their heads when we do that, you know, when we act justly and go above and beyond what they think. But
You're never going to win.
They're not always
No.
in check.
You're never going to win an enemy with a club. You will never win an enemy with a club. You will only win an enemy with love. One of the best examples, Serena.
Movie, yes. I was
Serena.
just thinking that.
So Will Wamberg, his wife, her parents were brutally murdered.
During the
And
Holocaust.
during the Holocaust. And the man that did that lived across the street from them. The husband, Wamberg, was having a conversation with him in the middle of the night. And he confessed what he had done. And he said, come see my wife. And he goes, no, you know, something to the effect that, no, she would, you know, she'll hate me, or no, she will feed you and she will love you. And without telling his wife anything, he knew her character. He woke her up from a sound sleep. And she got up and loved on this man who murdered her family.
And he told her.
And she fed him. Just like her husband. See, her husband knew her heart. They were united. They were one.
That's what loving your enemy looks like.
That's what loving your enemy looks like.
That makes me think of the Unbroken.
Yeah.
And when Louis went to see the guy, the Chinese or the Japanese guy that tortured him unbelievably when he was in POW, and he went and forgave him. I mean, that was just,
That's what that looks like. Okay? That's what that looks like. Wow. Wow.
I have not done that yet. I have not been called to do that, so.
Oh, we're all called to do that.
I know, but not yet.
You haven't had an opportunity yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And on that note,
Yep. Okay then.
and on that note, you know, I'm speaking to family. Don't be envious of somebody else's gift, okay? Don't be envious of somebody else's gift. Trust me, you don't want my gift. You don't want this gift.
I know that.
Because really, truly, you see the glory of it. You see the outcome of it. You get the teaching of it. But you haven't had to walk through I had to walk through to learn it. Or to apply it. Or, okay, so how many of you had a wonderful week and didn't have an opportunity to forgive this week? Because we talked about forgiveness, right? Oh, okay. Out of forgiveness, there's something he showed me. So there's you're going to be tested on what you profess. You are going to be tested on what you profess. And so last week was a really heavy message. It really was. It was a very deep message.
What is professing?
Not mine. Profess what you claim, what I project, what I say. So if I profess it, I believe in God. That's a profession of faith. Meaning I'm making a statement. I believe in God. I believe his word is true. And last week I was talking about what was coming out of my mouth was not necessarily from me, okay? Unforgiveness.
Resentment and forgiveness.
So there was a word that I've never taught on and never crossed my lips, probably. And sitting in a moment, there was a revelation of, we had talked about forgiveness, we had talked about jealousy, right? Okay, there's a spirit of resentment. And boy, that when he gave it to me and it flew out of my mouth, my eyes probably went boom because my head went. And I have confronted that almost all week. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I don't just teach you. Whatever he gives me comes out. Okay, I gotta walk.
You're learning it too.
Yeah. So and or it has to be, maybe I've learned it before, but I'm being tested how deeper, because you can always go deeper. You can always learn more. So if you're going to teach, you have to understand you're a mega student. Okay. So whatever your gifting is, whether it's helps, whether it's giving, administration, whatever that is, do it with your whole. There's a flip side to it too. Okay, we gotta be self-disciplined. We gotta grow up. We have to determine, right? Is that one of your words? Determine what we're going to do, and then we have to be diligent about it, right? Is that one of your words too? Diligence? It is, huh? So we have to determine and we have to be diligent. We have to set our mind on it and decide, okay? So he doesn't want a bunch of baby Christians. Babies are cute, but not when you're an adult. Well, not when you're an adult baby. It's he talks that if we are going to be faithful to teach the next generation and the next generation,
You have to grow up.
we got to grow up. We've got to. How else are we going to withstand tribulation? How are we going to hold up against trials? How are we going to hold up against testings? Because it's trouble. Okay? Even somebody just confronting you. If we're weak, just so your words are going to stop me and crumple me, then that's weak. Okay? We've got to. We all, the body of Yeshua, everywhere has to. Okay? And discerning. So we've got to, we need to act justly, love mercy, walk humbly, ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. And if you sincerely want it, he'll give it to you, but you got to be willing to act on it. You've got to be willing to accept the wisdom and trust it, okay? And then go. Okay. And discernment. Okay, and on that note, pray for me. Don't forget. I need lots of prayers, okay? Because, if we have more messages like last week, if the enemy can knock me out, there's the message. Okay, do you understand? So it's really, really important that you pray for me. I mean, really important that you pray for me.
Because I don't want to step into your shoes.
I don't either. Anyway, my father's the one that called out my gifting. And my father's the one that gave me a spiritual heritage and blessed me. And today is my father's birthday. And today would be a great day to honor that and to honor his memory. Is that scriptural? Yeah. Doesn't it talk about our forefathers and the faith of our fathers? So let me talk about the faith of my father today. I have two fathers, a heavenly one and an earthly one. And my earthly father deserved a lot more obedience and honor and recognition than he got while he was alive from me and others. My earthly father was an absolute wonderful, wonderful, wonderful example of my heavenly Father. My father was the most humble, meek man I'd ever met in my life. To this day. Very, very, very strong. Very forgiving. And love, you correct me if I'm wrong, love oozed from every pore of his body. It wasn't just in his face or his words or his hands or his feet. It just oozed from him. He was a wonderful example of God. He was a wonderful example of Abba. So today I honor his memory. And that's an okay thing to do. Okay? Do I worship him? No. I'm grateful to God. I worship God for giving me a father like that. I needed a father like that, and Abba knew it. I needed that. So I needed that unconditional love. I needed the forgiveness. I needed the humor. I needed his protection. He was a good picture. But yeah, humor. Oh my gosh, humor was hilarious. So he was a wonderful man. So I honor him today. His name was Lloyd Hill. He was a wonderful man. Wonderful man. Okay. In the Hebrew, I think it's slicha, and that would be to forgive, to pardon, to overlook an offense, and treat the offender as though they're not guilty. Ooh. So to forgive is to pardon, to overlook an offense or a perceived offense, and treat the offender as not guilty. Do you remember where I said where the root of forgiveness is? What? Chesed, which is love, mercy, long-suffering, kindness, right? All of those, it's an undescribable, Hesed is an undescribable word. It's the character of God. All I can tell you is if you'd have met my father, you would have had a human picture of Hesed. Okay? Was he perfect? No. No. Did he have faults? Yeah, he did. Nonetheless, he deserves honor, respect, and recognition. So, I said, the root of forgiveness is love. Oh, I like that. The root of forgiveness is love, which is to pardon and overlook an offense or a perceived offense and treat the offender as not guilty. So, jealousy. We talked about jealousy last week, right? And how Cain was jealous of Abel. And Joseph's brothers were jealous of him, right? Was it something that Abel did to Cain? No, it was something they perceived, right?
Yeah.
It was because somebody else showed him favor and they didn't think they deserved it. Oh, that leads me to another word. Here's resentment. The excitement of passion which proceeds from a sense of wrong offered to ourselves or to those who are connected with us, like anger. Oh. This word usually expresses less excitement than anger, though it is often synonymous with anger. It expresses less wrath than anger, because you can actually hide resentment. Anger you really can't hide. When you're that angry, it's oozing out of you. But resentment, you can hide it for a little while. You can harbor it.
It's quiet.
Yeah. Didn't he say not to hold on to? That's resentment. Resentment is what you hold on to. Okay? It's before it becomes full-blown anger. Okay? All right. That's resentment.
And where does it start? in the mind? In the
Yes,
heart?
yeah. Your heart and your mind, same. Okay, your heart and your mind are two different organs of your body, but in thought, they're the same. In scripture, they're the same. The seat of the emotions is in the heart, which is right here. You choose. You choose what to hold on to. You choose what to let go of. It's right here.
Through Christ, we let Christ cut it off before it blooms into actions.
No, actually, that's a good thought. You can ask him to help you. You have to do it.
Mhm.
He can't do that.
Yeah.
He
Your
can't.
choice.
He's telling you to do it. Forgiveness. He says for you. He says forgive. It's not. He's not saying ask me and I'll help you forgive. He's saying no. You let it go. You forgive. So no, it's not asking him to do it. It's not waiting for him to do it. You have to choose to do it.
So that's why it's very hard even for Christians to do that.
Because it's self. Me, myself, and I. I. Get rid of that I. Cut it off. Yeah. That's why it's difficult. All right. I got another word for you. You guys are going to learn 3 words today. Resentment was one. Indignant. One of the translations, it will talk about one of the definitions that I looked up in the Hebrew with resentment and anger, talked about indignation. And the root of that is indignant. And what it means is affected at once with anger and disdain. Oh. You know, do you ever something happen and you instantly are angry? You're just like instant anger reaction? That's indignant. Okay? It says affected at once. So, oh, I'm angry. No, you're indignant. Use the right word. Feeling the mingled emotions of wrath and scorn or contempt, as when a person is exasperated at one despised. There's your hint. Okay? When you're indignant, it's because you're upset at something or someone that you look at as inferior. That's what contempt is, or scorn. They're less than. You think I'm wrong? Despised. To look down on with disrespect or aversion. To regard as negligible, worthless, or distasteful. What did we talk about last week when it says be careful not to call somebody fool, Raka? Just Jesus can't do that for you. Sorry. Yeshua cannot do that for you. You do that for you. You do that in obedience. It is a choice. And it's not one of those where, you know, I have often said, forgiveness starts here and eventually gets to your heart. We need to speed that process up. We need to choose and let it immediately hit our heart. Okay? We don't have time. Yes, time heals. Yes, time helps. But if you have determined that you're going to forgive, then let it get to your heart. Okay? Otherwise, you're harboring it. Otherwise, resentment's going to build. Then you're going to have a root of bitterness. Okay? All of that goes with forgiveness. Yikes. Yikes. So that has to go with diligence and determination. You have to determine, right? You have to determine, I am going to forgive. I'm going to walk in his love. I determine I'm going to do it. And then you have to be diligent, working hard to do it. Right? Oh. See how they all work together? Because you see what happens as a teacher is I have to have examples.
She's tested on it.
How do I am tested on it.
No?
I am tested on it. Whether I have walked it before or walked it all my life or part of my life or never in my life, I will be tested on everything that I teach you. Again and again. Because it's coming out. Okay. It's like saying, okay, well, you used to say it. Do you still? And then I have to be able to have, oh, Lord, help me, enough material that I can reach you because you're all individual. And so maybe the story that I had doesn't touch or affect you. So I need a new experience you can relate to. Y'all better learn this one real
Isn't God
fast.
good?
Bite your
It's
tongue.
good, good, good.
Okay. That was easy for her to say, wasn't it? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
You saying?
You stepped in my shoes this week. You all understand what I'm saying? Learn. Get a hold of it and grab a hold of it. Don't worry. I know we're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna be here for a while. Okay. We're gonna be here. That's okay. It's good. All right. You guys want to go find your stuff? Get your pencils out and things so that it doesn't make noise. Okay. And you're still gonna pay attention with your ears and your heart, right? Maybe not your eyes and your hands because they're gonna be busy, but your ears and your heart. Thank you.